Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, I haven't spoken to you since Wednesday. On Friday, I actually recorded an episode for you, but something happened to my microphone and there was time of recording, but no sound. So that was a frustrating experience, but, I believe everything happens for the better and wasn't meant to be. So today I'm super pumped to deliver you some nutritious information so you feel and do better in all areas of your life. Especially on Monday, you need this, for your upcoming week as much as possible, nutritious or nutrient dense information so you can feel, do, look your best at all times. Nutrition is huge, guys. Every cell of your body is built from the foods that you put in your body. So make sure that you don't put junk into your body, because then some of your cells going to be made out of junky material. And, it's like if you have a Ferrari, but there are parts that are out of junkyard, that Ferrari probably wouldn't run as smoothly, don't you think? So it's the same in the body. It's not going to kill you right away if you eat a lot of junk food on a regular basis, or even some junk food on a regular basis. But some of your cells just not going to be as good. And you might at some point have some injuries, at other points have some health problems. So just do your best and put the best fuel into your body. And guys, today we are talking about protein, but why we are talking about protein and about, it's also related to putting the best fuel into your body. So, last Saturday, I went to a networking event for women entrepreneurs, and we were having brunch together. We had brunch together. We went to this place to have brunch, to talk to each other, to see each other and meet each other in person. After all this Zooming and lockdown, it felt so much better to see, real people and just talk face to face. Anyhow, so we were there, and of course, everybody was talking about what they do, what they're up to, what they're passionate about, what they're working on, and food, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a nutrition coach, I'm on a mission to transform our food system. But food also unites us all. And so people always have a lot of questions for me about food, because we all eat it, right? So we all want to get better at it. And just because we eat food doesn't mean we understand it. That's why we have nutritionists and nutrition coaches and all sorts of health professionals researching that to help the rest of the world to understand food better. One of the women there, she asked me, or I'm just, hungry all the time. I can't be on any diet to, eat healthier and change her weight and just improve and increase the amount of health she has. And I told her right away, you don't need to starve to eat healthy. That's a common misconception in a diet world, especially among women. So if there are women listening to this, girls, you don't have to feel hungry to eat healthy. Not at all. Eating healthy and being hungry has nothing, it's not equal. You might want to feel hungry for some other reasons, like for longevity, maybe fast once in a while. But in order to eat healthy, you don't need to be hungry. You just need to eat good quality foods. So whatever is unhealthy, whatever you believe doesn't invest in your best health, you just replace it with whole food, great quality foods alternatives. And you don't have to go hungry. That's not what you're trying to optimize for. And when you're trying to change your body weight, in most cases, you don't need to go hungry at all. Actually, when you replace processed food, ultra processed food, some sort of not ideal food, maybe some junk food, maybe some processed snacks, when you replace that with whole foods, my clients, my friends, they all report not feeling hungry, yeah, but not feeling hungry at all. Like all of a sudden, they replace all these weird ultra-processed snacks or morning cereal or bread or some, I don't know, croissants or sandwiches. They replace that with whole food, and all of a sudden they don't feel hungry anymore. And they eat at the same time, very often, less calories, and they start losing weight without counting anything. They just get into their ideal body weight. And of course, they feel better. They have more energy. They just feel so much more alive in their body. And again, it has nothing to do with starving yourself or counting calories or carbs or fat. It has to do with replacing processed and ultra-processed foods with whole foods full of protein, of vitamins, of minerals, of healthy fats, of fibers, and different kinds of carbohydrates. So the less processed your food is, the less hungry you're going to feel, and the better you're going to feel and look. So again, eating healthy has nothing to do with dieting or restricting yourself or feeling hungry. It has nothing to do with that. Eating healthy is about eating high quality foods, and those are minimally processed foods. Minimally processed, why I say that is because, well, you can eat organic canned beans like chickpeas, for example, that I absolutely love, or red kidney beans or black beans, and they are processed because the process of processing our food, it's cooking, it's boiling something, it's even cutting and washing. It's already some sort of processing, right? So you want to go for cooked from fresh or minimally processed, like canned beans or canned tuna or canned sardines kind of food, or yogurt, fermented kefir, naturally fermented dairy products. They're also processed, but the way they're processed, they're minimally processed, minimally the initial, the base product was changed in the minimum amount, with the minimal amount of ways, and there is nothing added. So those are minimally processed foods, and those you want to eat more of. Or of course, a lot of your food ideally should be cooked, made from scratch. Like eat your veg, eat your fruit, eat your protein-rich food. So again, eating healthy, it has nothing to do with dieting or feeling hungry. And then the same woman, as we were talking, she shared that she feels hungry all the time. Like she feels like she has to eat all the time. And one of the suggestions that almost always hits the spot for especially women is one of the pieces of advice is when I advise to add more protein. Humans are one of the kind of animals, we eat till protein satiety. What it basically means is when we don't get enough protein, we're going to be hungry. And for most people these days, breakfast is very protein poor meal. So people would have a sandwich or a croissant or oatmeal. Yeah, guys, oatmeal, by the way, is a very protein poor food. So if you just have oatmeal, you're going to be hungry very soon because there is no protein. And it's the beginning of your day. It's breakfast, and you need probably to do work. You need to train. It might be the most active part of your day, and in your breakfast, you get no protein or close to no protein. Of course, you're going to be hungry because your body, it got calories, but the calories is not at all everything that your body needs. Your body also needs proteins, essential fats, fibers to feed your gut bacteria, right? And so ideally, you want to combine all of that. Essential fats, like eat a handful of walnuts, specifically walnuts, not almonds, but walnuts. Eat enough protein. For most women, I recommend 30 grams of protein per meal. For most guys, 40 grams of protein per meal. Unless you're trying to actually build muscle, you're an athlete, that's a different story. But 30 grams for women, 40 grams for men for breakfast. And then again, handful of walnuts for essential fats that your body actually needs, your brain needs to function, for your heart, for a lot of things. And then for fiber, either have your oatmeal, eat some fruit. Maybe you decide to have omelette with vegetables. That's also a source of fiber. And you're good to go. You're not going to be hungry. And when I give this advice to most women, and actually most guys these days, they're like, yeah, you're actually right. I don't eat any protein for my breakfast. And so like, I'm going to try that. And a lot of my friends and clients tried that, and they report back that they indeed do not feel hungry. What a wonderful idea to have more protein for breakfast instead of, again, some sandwich with a little bit, I don't know, maybe even if it has a little bit of tuna, it probably has tiny amount that does not give you the amount that you need, because amount also matters. Again, for women, usually 30 grams per meal. For guys, usually 40 grams per meal. And to give you an idea of what 30 grams or around that of protein looks like, so let me give you a few examples. One egg, for example, one whole egg is 6 grams of protein. So if you need to hit, 30, obviously one egg will not do that. Now people say, what about yogurt, like Greek yogurt? Yogurts are also not that high in protein, like 150 grams or 5 ounces, your regular tub of yogurt would have about 9 grams of protein. For high protein yogurt, it's about 16 grams. So for women, you would need double that amount. So like 300 grams or 10 ounces. And I actually eat 15 ounces of yogurt, kefir per day. So that's the amount of yogurt you would need if you want to maintain high amount of protein for breakfast, for example, right? Now we have beef, chicken, salmon. What kind of protein you get there? For beef, 100 grams or 3 ounces, 26 grams. For chicken, 26, 27. Also for salmon, 22 grams, right? If we're talking about chickpeas, beans, all this plant-based food, chickpeas, a cup of cooked chickpeas would have only 14 grams. Cup of cooked lentils, about 18 grams. So if you need, this amount, re-listen to this episode again. So as you can imagine, if you want to hit, let's say for women, 30 grams of protein for your breakfast, and you decided to eat eggs, well, you'll need to eat 3-4 whole eggs to hit 18-24 grams of protein. And then on top of that, probably eat a bit of, yogurt. And that would be enough. Like, well, again, 150 grams, so 5 ounces of yogurt. If you, like your oatmeal, then get some protein powder, plant-based or non-plant-based, without any sugar added, without any sucralose added. That is sweetener. Please check if your protein has that, ideally like plain protein. So add that, a scoop of protein into your oatmeal. That's allowed, guys. That's a processed, powder, but it's relatively good for you. And your hunger levels will go down. So get some protein powder if you don't want to eat any other protein-rich foods for breakfast. What else? If you eat your yogurt, if you love your yogurt with fruit, maybe for breakfast, again, add some protein powder to that. If you want, you can have, chicken, beef, salmon for breakfast. I don't see why not. I'm just not a breakfast person. I usually fast for breakfast. But if I were to have my breakfast, you for sure, it's going to contain some protein. Like I eat on average 100 grams of protein in just animal foods, plus all the like beans and stuff. So I eat plenty of protein, and I can tell you I'm feeling and looking the best I've ever felt and looked. Protein is important, guys. So again, for breakfast, you want to have a good amount of protein. If you're not feeling like eating a lot of protein-rich foods for breakfast, then add a scoop of protein powder into whatever it is you're eating. And another advice, add some walnuts. Has nothing to do with protein, has to do with essential fatty acids, omega-3s, omega-6s, that your brain actually needs to function, and your whole body actually also needs. The body cannot make those fats. They are essential for functioning. So a handful of walnuts will give you somewhere between 100 to 120% of your omega-3s, somewhere in the realm of 60% of your omega-6s. Usually omega-6s it's easy to get from other foods during the day, but omega-3s a lot of people are deficient, and you want to get them from breakfast when you're the most active, when your brain needs the most fuel, right? So as you can see, I'm not telling you to count calories or to starve yourself for breakfast, even though if you want to fast, fast eats like works for some people, doesn't work for other people, takes time to adjust to that. But if you have your breakfast, please do not go for croissant, weird sandwiches that have very tiny amount of protein, or breakfast cereal. If you decide to have your oatmeal, please make sure there is no sugar, and please add some protein powder. If you want your breakfast to be filling and you don't want to be hungry till lunchtime or later, if you want to function the best, if you want to feel the best, please make sure that you do have enough protein, 30 grams for women, 40 grams for men. That's what I recommend based on the scientific data. And add some walnuts to that. And don't forget fiber. You also have trillions of bacteria in your gut that needs that fiber to eat. And they're also quite hungry in the morning, because they also were fasting the whole night. And that's about it, guys. Again, healthy eating has nothing to do with starving yourself or counting calories, obsessively counting calories. It has to do with improving the quality of all of your foods, as switching to whole foods, cooked and minimally processed, and also, learning what are good ingredients, what are not so good. Usually the ingredients that you can't pronounce are not that good for you and probably shouldn't be in your daily food. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about protein, adding protein to your breakfast. Whenever that breakfast happens to be, if you fast, then your breakfast is like at 12 p.m. You should have protein. Also, if you have just 2 meals of the day, some people are into fasting like myself, then make sure to add more protein into that meal. Now you have to eat more protein in those 2 meals than if you were to eat 3 meals. It's obvious, but some people somehow skip this fact, and then people wonder, why am I losing my lean body mass or not building muscle? Just because you eat 2 times a day, it doesn't cancel your protein requirements. So protein again. Also, Google is a very amazing tool to figure out how much protein is in your food. Besides, on most foods these days, you have protein amount. Even on like broccoli, there is some sort of label that would tell you that. You can Google, lentils, like protein, beef, protein, or egg, protein, milk, yogurt. So put it in Google and it will give you the answer right away. Very amazing tool if you haven't used it for that purpose yet. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Go grab some breakfast and add some protein, or maybe go on Amazon. By the way, 21st, 22nd is Amazon days, so a lot of things are with discounts, so maybe time to order some protein powder. And by the way, make sure there is no sugar, no sucralose, none of that. Maybe sweetened with stevia and natural extract of berries and fruit if you want it to be flavored. So get some protein powder if you aren't into eating a lot of whole protein-rich foods for breakfast. Enrich with protein your breakfast, and you're gonna feel much less hungrier. I promise you that. And if you have any questions about protein-rich foods, how to add more protein into your meals, what's the exact amount of protein you need for your goals, please do reach out on Instagram at 1000yearyoung, or via email angela@createyourself.today. Please do reach out. Please share with me your protein-rich meals. Always makes me happy to see those. And thank you for tuning in. Have an awesome week ahead. And as usual, till next time, eat better daily.